Let's talk about Declan Rice. I talk about him a lot, to be fair, but I want to give him the platform that he deserves because this season, for the opening games, he's just been different class. He's been different gravy, to be honest with you. And I think you don't need stats to necessarily tell you that, but I think what they tell you is very interesting and backs up what Declan Rice has become. First and foremost, on today's performance against Everton, you see him in the number 6 role, how successful he's been regarding that. And his numbers, largely speaking, are exactly the same in terms of tackles and interceptions. So the reading of the game is bread and butter. What he's good at, for me, is exactly at the level of where it should be at. Where it has gone to a different level is the passing. And I think when we look at Declan Rice's passing and the progression, not just physically, but certainly since he's joined West Ham and since he's come through the academy and since he's become a defensive midfielder, it's just a different level to what I've seen. You know, you look around the Premier League and you look at how many players improve at that rate of improvement. I honestly think Declan Rice is one of the fastest improving players in this division. And the stats in terms of pass completion, we're talking 90s, we're talking 91, 92% so far this season. And when you compare it to one of the best defensive midfielders in this division in Fabinho, there's an argument that is between both him and Declan Rice. His is slightly less as well. And you're talking about a possession-based side. So, and even when you just take those statistics away, because they're so easy at times to say, well, they're sideways passes or they're backwards passes. I actually think Declan's variety of passings, not long ball into players, switching the play at times, playing through lines. But what I love about him and where I think he does it correctly is it'd be very easy from hearing the outside noise and hearing that he's not progressive enough as a defensive midfielder. Actually, he picks his moments of when to make those passes and when to take those risks. And 9 times out of 10, when he plays that vertical pass, he's playing it with pace, he's playing it with intensity, it's going to the target, it's accurate. So I think you've got to give him a lot of credit for that and the improvement in that sense. But where his game has become different, where he's become almost a different player, when we talk about progressive carries, when we talk about dribbling, that's where I feel that he's one of the most rounded defensive midfielders in this division. There's a lot of players, Fabinho and Didi, players that are fantastic in their defensive attributes, reading the games, using their physicality, using their understanding of space. Where I think Declan is pulling away or showing something different from them is how he's carrying the ball. It's 1.1 dribbles per game against Fabinho with 0.2. And again, that's interesting because you look at Liverpool's team and you expect Fabinho to be progressing with the ball a little bit more. And if I'm honest, and if I'm being fair, Fabinho definitely can do that. But Declan has shown something in this game that we haven't seen from him too many times. We used to see it on the odd occasion last season, but I think Moyes has given him the ability to drive forward. And he's shown that he's got the quality to do it. And where I find it even more interesting is how he's doing it in the final third. He's doing it 3 times per game roughly in the final third compared to 1.8 last season. So again, he's almost doubling or a little less than doubling what he was doing last season, and he's comfortable in that sense. His pressures are the most successful that they've ever been in the midfield. And I think when you're talking about a player that's now been given the license to be more aggressive, to go and press for the ball, actually what he's shown you is the defensive capabilities and his intelligence in reading the game is being implemented further up the pitch. And that's, for me, where he is becoming a completely different level of player. The fact that he's so comfortable on the ball, the fact that he's making the right decisions, and the fact that, like today, he can sit deeper, he can scan, he can intercept. Of course, we know he can do this. And the fact that he's comfortable in possession, it's frightening. It's frightening the level that this guy is going to achieve in his career. It's absolutely ridiculous. And this season in particular, I feel that we've got a real gem. He's always been a gem, let's be honest, for 2-3 seasons now. But the level that he's playing at and the stats that we're seeing defensively and offensively now are more than I would have expected from Dec. And I suppose to end it really is the fact that Declan, from when he first came in as a centre-back and we played a back three with Moyes at times, to when Pellegrini played him as a defensive midfielder, the level of improvement, he's always had, I think for me, raw basic defensive skills that people may gloss over just in terms of blocking passing lanes and intercepting, and those things he's always had. But to add the attributes to his game that either he's had in training and bring that regularly and at a consistent level to the Premier League and be successful with it, I think that's just unbelievable. So that's that's a little bit of credit I want to give to Declan Rice. That's how Declan Rice has become a completely different player, a player that's entered to a new platform so far this season. Let me know in the comment section what you think about Declan's progression, where you think, if at all, he needs to improve. I'm sure a few of you might be talking about the goals and definitely the pens, but other than that, the level that he's showing at the minute is just unbelievable. So I'll end it there. Thanks so much for joining me. I will be back this week with a Tottenham preview. I'll try and get one of them lot on. I really don't want to, but it might be interesting to hear what they got to say. And we'll do a tactical preview. So play around with a tactics board a little bit in terms of what I expect from Tottenham, in terms of what I expect from West Ham, and sort of go through game plans and sort of different permutations of how West Ham could play against them lot. But it's going to be interesting now. 5th and 6th. That's a big game, even early doors. So take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll speak to you all very soon.